I'm Pastor Rick, and this is Straight Talk on Scripture. You know, there are quite a few scriptures that talk about that God is a healer. It says that He sent His word and healed us. It says in Isaiah that by His stripes we're healed. There's multiple other scriptures. Now, I believe that God is a healer. Some people believe that miracles and healing stopped with the apostles. I'm going to tell a story and you decide. You see, in the 2010s, my brother got really sick. You know, we were worried about him. He started making really rash decisions. He seemed irrational, and we weren't quite sure what was going on with him. But we were to find out that he had developed early Alzheimer's, and so what happened was he had to be hospitalized and institutionalized, and he just, began to deteriorate, and it was just a sad thing. He was young, far younger than most people when they get it, and it's never a good time to get it, but he was young. And he gradually deteriorated to the point where he wasn't ambulatory anymore. He couldn't walk, he just laid in a bed, and the time came where the doctor called me and said, he's nearing the end of his life. Do you want to give him a feeding tube? What are his wishes for the end of his life? And I, was really good friends with my brother, and I knew what his wishes were. He didn't want a feeding tube. What he would have wanted was to just be kept comfortable until he passed away. He was a strong Christian. He knew when he passed away, he was going to heaven, so he had no fear of death. And so he couldn't make the decision for himself right now, so I was able to communicate what he wanted. Well, more time passed, and now the doctor calls me, and he says, your brother has roughly a month to live, because he's now aspirating anything that we give him, and, he's going to get pneumonia, and he's going to die, and you can figure on about a month. Now, I have to say, I was just planning on, doing a funeral for Steve. But I was with my wife and my brother and sister-in-law, and my brother-in-law had what I believe is a prophetic word. And he said, your brother is not going to die, but, I had a dream. I saw Steve at a function at the church, and he was fine. I believe God's going to do a miracle. And I thought that would be great if he did, but he's only got about a month. Anyhow, fast forward a week, and I'm home, and Steve, my brother, calls me, which is a miracle in itself because he had ceased talking and being able to use a phone a while ago. And so he calls me and he says, Rick, what's up, my brother? And I said, Steve, you're talking, you're using a phone, what's up with you? And he said, I woke up. And he in truth, he woke up, he received a miracle. He was totally restored. He was totally himself again. And just so you know that on the record, people recovering from late Alzheimer's, it just doesn't happen. They have him in the medical books as a spontaneous remission. They wouldn't call it a miracle, but you and I know what it was. It was a miracle, and one that doesn't happen very often. He came back from death's door, and he was in late Alzheimer's, and he came back and was totally restored. So, as for me and my family, we believe in miracles. We believe that God is still doing miracles, and it hasn't ended with the apostles. And, maybe you need a miracle. All I could say is don't give up hope. While there's life, there's hope. Well, this is just something to think about. I hope I've given you hope and something to believe in. All I can say is with Jesus, there's always hope. There's always love. God bless you. I'll see you soon.